Assalamu alaikum students. Today is my lecture 1 chapter 2 biology class, and the chapter 2, the name of the solving a biological problem, how to solve a problem in the scientific way, in the research way, in the biological method. And first we will be defining the biological method and the examples, and now after that to write this define definitions of the biological method and examples. We will be write the steps of the biological problems. And first of all, I am writing a chapter named solving our biological problems. How to solve, if you have problem, how to solve the problem in the biological method. Then biological method, we will define this. The first of all, I write the biological method, and then I will be discussed how to define the biological method. And then a scientific method, biological method means a scientific method that involves experiments on organisms to solve biological problems. It's mean some scientists said according to the biological method, if you have problems, then you solve problems by doing experiments on organisms to solve biological problems in scientific method, in scientific way. Means is that if you have problem and you solve, if you have problem, not personal problem, if you have problem according to the according to your subjects, according to your biological problems, according to your diseases, any things, if you have problems, you will be doing first experiments and to solve the problems in scientific way. Okay, so we will define this biological method, a scientific method that involves experiments on organisms to solve biological problems. It's mean these scientific methods, such method, you first doing experiment on organisms and to solve the biological methods. For example, the first example is about the we using to reduce copper salt. This is examples of the first biological method I write in this paper. The first example is the using organisms to reduce copper salt. Organisms, which organisms? Organisms means plant, enzymes, microbes, bacteria, fungi, proteins and starch, etc. Those organisms which easily reduce the copper salt can be reduced copper salt and stabilized. Okay, its mean is the biological method. We use a living thing to reduce your problems and solve the biological method problems in the biological method, in a scientific method, in a research way. So this is called a biological method. Again, we will discuss about the examples. Using organisms to reduce copper salt. The organisms like plants, enzymes, microbes, proteins and starch can be reduced copper salt and stabilized copper and PS. Okay, this mean is the biological method of the examples. Biological method, again we will define this, a scientific method that involves experiments on organisms to solve biological problem. And the second example is the synthesized nanoparticles. Synthesized nanoparticles. Synthesize, how to synthesize nanoparticles? First, we use bacteria, fungi or plant can be used to synthesize nanoparticles. Again, we will be use the living organisms, living thing, to synthesize some particles to reduce the problems of the biologically. Okay, again we will be discussed the biological method and two examples. This is the most important definitions of the class 9 chapter 2, and for class 9 to pass the exam. The biological method, the scientific method that involves experiments on organisms to solve biological problems. And the example is the using organisms to reduce copper salt. Organisms like plants, enzymes, microbes, proteins and starch can be reduced copper salt and stabilized. And second example is the synthesized nanoparticles. How to synthesize nanoparticles? Bacteria, fungi, or plant can be used to synthesize nanoparticles. These are the two examples of the biological method and one definition. If you write these definition and these examples, you definitely get the 2 marks in the paper exam. So you read and write and remember these definitions and examples. If you have any question, you can ask me with comment, and subscribe my channel, like my channel, and everything. So the second thing is we will write the biological problems, hypotheses, reductions, and experiments. These are the steps of the biological method. Biological method have the 7 steps to solve a problem. Biological method have 7 steps to solve a biological problem in a scientific way. So first problem, if you have problem and you want to solve this problem in the scientific way, so first of all, biologists what do doing this test. The first step is the recognize of the biological problem. First the scientist how step is the recognitions of the biological problem. Okay, and second is the observations. First recognition, and second is the observation. Third, hypothesis formulations. Fourth, deductions. 5, experimentations. 6, summarizations of result to create tables, graphics, etc. And last, reporting the results. And again we will discuss first write and read. If you have biological problem and you want to solve the biological problem in the biological method in scientific way, to first we write in the solving biological problems, and biologist takes following steps must. If you use these steps, you definitely solve the problems in the scientific way. Okay, and first again I will be write, and I will be tell all students these 7 and 8 steps of the biological method. And the first is the recognition of biological problem. First we will be recognized. If you have problem, you first recognized. Okay, if you have problem, if you have biological problem, first recognize the biological problem. And second, I will be write first, and then I will tell you what is the second step of the biological method. Second step is the observation. If you have problem, you first recognized and then you observe these problems. Okay, I will be tell again because I want to read and remember in your mind class. So please carefully read my channel, read my topics. And this third is the, if you have problem, you first recognize. Second is the observation. Third is the hypothesis. Third step is the hypothesis formulation. Okay, third step is hypothesis formulation. First is the recognition of the biological problem. Second is the observation. Third, hypothesis formulation. 4, deduction. And 5, experimentation. 6, summarization of the result. If you have biological problem, first recognition, second observation, third hypothesis formulation, fourth deduction, 5 experimentation, 6 summarization of the result. How to summarize of the result? We will be create some tables, some graphs, and some diagrams, to take diagrams with perfect and which is the control and experiment things. And the last is the reporting, and I will be read and write these steps. And the last step is the reporting the result. If you have result, you must be report these result in front of the other scientists, in front of the other people. What will the steps after this? Reporting the result. The last step of the biological method, and the last step is the reporting the result. This is my, if you have question, subscribe my channel, and bye bye.